my name is Zoe. I'm the Tipsy Psychic. And today I want to talk to you about power. Power. What is power? It's energy. Well, when you're casting a spell, you need to understand where your power is coming from. And there are so many sources for power. So when you're about to raise power and you're crafting a spell, you really want to know, like, okay, so like, where am I gonna get this power from? Am I gonna ask a deity? Because deities have power, right? Am I going to use the elements like fire, water, air, earth? Am I gonna ask my witchy ancestors? Am I going to use the power of the weather? Am I gonna do some sex magic and harness power from my orgasm? Or am I gonna call from within me? And everyone has power, the power of the self. And there's so many different ways to harness this power, and I'm not gonna go into all of them. Then you need to build on that power. And depending on the source of power, it will be different every time. But you need to build that power up. You need to create that energy so it's strong enough so that when you send it out, it will be very effective. It will work. Remember that it's really important to be connected. It's really important to have your emotions down. And if you want to know all about that, you can definitely check out my other videos about those things. There are different ways. There's chants. Words are powerful. There's a reason you hear about things being recited or barbarous words, incantations. So chanting something over and over again, because repetition creates power. And that brings me to rhythm. Say you're listening to music or patting drums. A lot of like tribal rituals use this kind of thing, but you can even do it yourself. Motion, like dancing. Dancing is very well known. A lot of people add it to their spells. You can use crystals to create power and draw upon them. Burning incense, using aromas to build power and raise it. Give offerings. And that's why in these really complex spells, you see all these different steps, because that's basically what's creating this power. Now, I'm not saying you have to do all this to cast a spell, right? You don't have to chant words. You don't have to like have sex. You don't have to dance around. You don't have to be sky clad. You don't have to do any of that to perform magic. But the more of these steps you do, the more you get into this, the more you raise power, the more you're in a trance, or the more you meditate. These things will help you be more effective. They will help you strengthen the effectiveness of your spell. So it's kind of about figuring out how much power you need as well. Maybe you don't need to do any of this. Maybe you just need to visualize, draw from within, draw the power from within, and release it. That's fine. But you kind of have to understand the mechanics. You're taking power, you're raising it up, and you're sending it. Whether that's out to the universe, whether you're just sending a message to a deity, it's all up to you. I also want to mention that there are ways to store power. So I don't know if you've heard of talismans. Talismans are basically like an object, usually like a crystal, and you do a spell in a way to put power into that and store it. So over time, it carries power, kind of like a little battery of power. And sometimes you need to recharge them. You can also do knot magic, and that's using knots to store power. And that's a whole art in itself. You can bury your magic. Putting it back into the earth can also strengthen a place. So once you've gathered all that power, and once that energy is flowing, then you're gonna wanna find a way to release it. And sometimes this can be a motion, but this is basically you visualizing, or whether that's feeling, it doesn't really matter. It works differently for everyone, you know? But there's different ways to send the power back. And so you wanna reach a certain climax, and there's like feminine energies and masculine energies, and whether that's a very like straight up like wave of energy and a burst of it, or whether that's more of a feminine energy, which is more like this, where you're like slowly building up power in a very extreme-y way. You know what I mean? When you're crafting a spell, you need to kind of figure this out ahead of time, in my opinion. How you're going to release your power. Whether you send it with a word or a motion, or even an orgasm, right? So like it's very different depending on your spell, and you have to cater it to your spell, of course. I hope this kind of gave you a quick idea of how power works and what goes into a spell. So now that you have the intention, you kind of know how you feel, and you know how the law of attraction works, you know the way the universe works. Now that you understand what is magic, and now that you understand how to connect things together, then you understand how power works and how using those things to raise power, and then also about sending that power. Subscribe to my channel. I hope this was helpful to you. Comment below. Bye.